Is it just knitting? Is it just knitting though? Like, it's important. Hey everyone, it's Natalie, also known as Knitty Natty. Welcome to what we're going to call episode 82 and a half of the Love and Stitches podcast. Today is Tuesday, October 6th, I believe, 2020. So if this is your first time watching, this is not going to be a regular podcast. I'm going to do something a little different this week, and I will explain why. So I've kind of gotten myself into a predicament here where every single one of my whips is at a stage where I need to do some thinking, I need to fix something, or I need to wind something. I need to be home in order to work on it or just take some time. And so I'm like at a standstill. I've also just had some busy times with work and life in the past week, and I haven't gotten to knit as much as I have wanted to. So I thought, I know what to do. I am gonna have a get stuff done night. I made a huge list today while I was at work of all the knitting tasks and crochet that I want to accomplish, and I figured, why not share them with you? So while this is gonna start like a podcast, we're gonna quickly move into more of a vlog style, and I'm gonna take you along with me tonight as I try to knock out some of the items on my to-do list. So I know this has probably happened to you guys before where you just like, maybe you're not feeling motivated to work on any projects. I'm actually feeling motivated, like I really want to, but at the end of the day, if it's too complicated, I'm not going to work on it. My brain has already been used for work and after work, and I just can't. So I'm taking the time tonight to reset some of my projects that need it, get some tasks knocked off the to-do list, wind some yarn, and just get it done. So again, if you're coming for the first time, this is not a regular podcast episode, but I do have 82 others that are just like a regular podcast, but hopefully you'll enjoy this one today too. So let me take you through my whips really fast and just kind of explain what's going on with them, and then I'll tell you what I would like to do on my to-do list, and then what's probably reasonable tonight, because it's 8:15, which is really late for me. I am a early to bed person. I wake up early, and so this is going to be a late night for me, but I know I'll wake up feeling so much better tomorrow. Is it just knitting? Is it just knitting though? Like, it's important. Okay, so my first whip is my Weekender Light. This is a pattern by Andrea Mowry. I have finished the body part in the round, and I have done one side. I've got all kinds of needles on here. I've got a needle, I've got like a, what is this called? Like a little holder that I started putting it on, and then I got stuck because I used the wrong size needle for this ribbing right here at the top of the front. So I've already done ribbing on the bottom. I'm using size 2s and 4s, I believe. And for some reason, I pulled out my 1s and I knit my ribbing, and I was so proud of myself for how much I was accomplishing. This was like 2 weeks ago. And I don't know when it was. I feel like I was in the shower at night and I was just like, oh my gosh, I used the wrong size needle. And since then, I haven't done anything on this project, which is so silly. So one of the things tonight is to fix this, but there you go. Weekender Light, I'm using Knit Picks yarn. I do have my basket here. Knit Picks Stroll Fingering in Jack Rabbit Heather. So that is whip number 1. Okay, number 2. I actually have a finished object. See, if this was a regular podcast week, I guess I have a little bit to talk about, but I just felt like not enough. And I will count this as a finished object next week. You know why? Because I need to weave in the ends on it. So I have finished my sport weight socks. This is a yarn from Sunrise Fiber Company. And I don't have my other table down here. I have a table here, usually 2. And so I'm like having to reach on the floor. I'm just a mess. Okay. Sunrise Fiber Company in the colorway Oregon Coast Sunset. And it is a sport weight yarn, which was an accident. I did not mean to cast on sport weight yarn. And actually this project had an issue too, but I've already fixed it. So I finished the first sock, and then, or maybe this is the second sock. I've got both of them, hold on. All right, here's the other one. So I was working on them merrily. Oh yes, this is the one. This is the one, you guys. So see how there are 3 ends coming off the top here? That is because I was working on these when I was at a friend's house before a football game. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna finish these. I'm gonna get them bound off. I'm gonna get my other socks cast on. And I think I was editing a video too. I was majorly multitasking, and I just started binding off in pattern for the cuff of my sock. And then I went to try them on and I couldn't get them over my heel. And I was like, what have I done? I know I did a special bind off. Well, no, I hadn't. I just bound off in pattern instead of doing a super stretchy bind off, which you can see here is super stretchy. It was like this before, like that big. I couldn't go any further than that. So I had to take out the bind off, which really wasn't a huge deal. And then because I was doing the super stretchy bind off, I'll make sure to link it. I have a tutorial on it. It uses more yarn, right? Because it gives it more stretch. And so I had to add in another strand of yarn. That's why you see all that. All that to say is these are done. I need to take the time and just weave in the ends so that this is checked off my list and put it away and block them. So that is definitely on the list as well. So finished object, not too bad, right? Now, finished object, let's go into a new cast on. But of course, this has problems too. Okay, I am, I think I do have the label here. I am using a self-striping yarn for my October socks. Hold on. So out of order. This is too late for me. Okay. I am knitting some Halloween socks. Aren't these fun? I love the colors so much. I have a small ball of yarn. I don't think it was a full skein to begin with. I think it was like a short skein when I bought it. But I've also tried knitting with this before last October and it did not go well. This is Brazen Stitchery, a self-striping yarn. Love the yarn, love the colors. What I do not like about this is that this yarn does not have even stripes, and that's on purpose. So I didn't realize that last year when I started knitting these socks, and I was like, why are these stripes different? So I knew that going in this year, and yet I still can't figure out a rhyme or reason to these stripes, or does it start with green, or does it start with orange, or does it start with black? So I think I'm gonna take this out and do a wrap it around until I figure out where the part is, or the point is that I want to start these. So then I can just execute. I might even go ahead and wind it into 2 balls. And maybe I should start toe up, honestly, because I don't have a ton of yarn. I don't know exactly how much I have, but I will be weighing it here in a little bit. I do have a mini that is pretty much full, I think. So that's why these are at a standstill, because I don't really want to work on them because they're not going the way that I was hoping. So I just need to get that figured out. I nearly just zipped my yarn into this pouch. Can't have anything else go wrong tonight. Okay, we are not done yet. So I knit a swatch. Actually, this is my new video for Tuesday this week, a tutorial on how to swatch in the round. I know it doesn't look like a swatch in the round, but I promise it was swatched in the round and then cut. That's why you see all of this. And it's a really good way to knit swatches for sweaters that are knit in the round without having to make like a full tube, all those extra stitches, all that extra yarn. So I'll link that tutorial for you guys too. But I made my swatch. I'm going to make a V-neck boxy sweater, and I made the swatch as part of the tutorial, but also to start a sweater. And I did not get gauge. So I need to make another swatch going down 1 needle size and see if I can get closer to my gauge, and then I'll be picking between the 2. So there you go. Can't start that project until I do another gauge swatch. Okay, we're almost there. 2 more things. The other thing is, oh, I didn't bring it over. Check out this beautiful yarn from Farm Girl Fibers. Messing it up. Hold on. Okay, I need to wind this yarn tonight. This is actually going to be a design. I did show this yarn on my feed, I think, not too long ago, and I'm actually going to show you what I'm making tonight. I'm not giving you guys a podcast, so I'm giving you a sneak peek into an upcoming pattern. So I need to get this wound and do the math. I've already done my swatch. I just need to do the conversion from the swatch to the full thing, and it shouldn't be that hard, so hopefully I can go ahead and do that and get it ready, wound and ready to start on another day. That's what I'm hoping. Okay, one last thing, and this is actually like not a problem, except that it is now because I can't make anything easy. I think if you've been following me for a while, you know that I have to make everything really hard because I care so much about knitting. All right, it's definitely too late. Okay, so the West Knits Mystery Knit Along starts this Friday. I'm very excited. I need to wind my yarn. I actually took some pictures earlier. That was on my to-do list. I did it while it was still light outside. Took some pictures. So now I'm ready to wind up my yarn. I've got beautiful, gorgeous yarn. I'll go ahead and make a project page so that I can link that. So I went to look at I went to Knit Companion to pull the pattern from my Ravelry page, because while it's a mystery knit along, there's still like, you can go ahead and buy the pattern and you get the basic info, how to swatch, all of that. And so I was gonna put that into my Knit Companion so that I could just, review what the needle size was. I wanna make a gauge swatch and kind of a color testing swatch as well. And it wasn't there. And I was like, okay, that's weird. I guess maybe it's a Knit Companion thing. I went to Ravelry, to my library, and the pattern wasn't there either. So then I knew it wasn't a Knit Companion thing. Something had happened on Ravelry. And I was talking to my friends, my knitting friends via Zoom. We were on our little weekly knitting Zoom, and I was like, you guys, I know I purchased this pattern because I downloaded it to my computer. I think I was looking at it at work on my lunch. But I was looking at it and I looked at the gauge and I looked at everything. I know I bought this pattern. And so they suggested I go look at PayPal. I went to PayPal and I found the transaction. And then I finally searched through my emails and I found where I had purchased it. Still not in my Ravelry library. So I can download the PDF on my email, which is all good and fine, but I would really like it to be in my Ravelry library. So I need to finish an email that I was sending to the Ravelry support team so that I can see if I can get that pattern into my library. So I need to wind this, that's part of it, but also somehow the pattern went missing. And I know this has happened to other people before because people who have purchased my patterns have said the same thing, and I'm able to just I can verify their purchase and then I send them another copy and then it appears in their Ravelry library. So hopefully we'll be able to sort that out. If not, you know what? It's a really good, fun pattern. I don't mind buying it again, but I just thought, of course, of course, why would it be easy? Okay, so that's most of what's on my to-do list, but I had to really break it down. I know I'm not getting this all done tonight, but I would like to start on some of it. And I wrote it down just in my little planner while I was at work. I love these planners. Let me show you a blank page. There we go. Tomorrow's all blank, you guys. I'm not doing anything tomorrow. That's not true. But I do kind of do it day by day, but I love that it has every 30 minutes. I've got a checklist. I've got a top 3. I got notes. So that's where I put my stuff. I had to get it out of my brain at work today and I wrote it on here. So here are the things that I would like to accomplish. Again, probably not just tonight, but going on to the next day. I want to do it before the weekend because we are going to take a little trip this weekend. We have a 3-day weekend, so I need to get my projects ready. For the slip stravaganza, I need to take pictures of my yarn. I can cross that off, wind my yarn, and knit my swatch. So reasonable tonight, probably just wind the yarn. For my sport weight socks, I need to weave in the ends. I need to put away all the materials, the bag, all the notions. I need to block them. I think that's doable tonight. For my Halloween socks, I need to wind off sections of it to figure out how the heck it stripes. And then I need to prep the bag, which for me, that just means getting my project bag ready with the notions and all the needles and everything so that if I wanted to start the project start to finish, I have everything that I need. For my boxy, I need to re-swatch on size 3 needles and then get the bag prepped as well. So again, get all my yarn, everything, needles that I need together so that if I want to start the project, I have everything that I need. For my weekender, I need to fix the ribbing. I need to check and make sure I have all the materials that I'm going to need in the bag again so that when I go out of town this weekend, I can work on that project and see how far I am going to get. Probably need some different needles for the sleeves and stuff like that. Okay, for my design, I need to do the pattern math, I need to wind some yarn, and I put start one of the items, but I'm not going to start it tonight, I know that. So that's a to-do list. Yes, it's long. So I'm gonna take you guys along with me as I get some of those things done here tonight. I think I'm gonna start easy and feel very motivated. So I think I'm gonna start by weaving in some ends and get one project blocked and out of the way. All right, let me know what you're doing right now. Maybe you're knitting, maybe it's morning for you, you're knitting, drinking coffee or crocheting. Maybe you're working around the house. Maybe you're trying to sort out a problem with your projects too. Let me know what you're working on as you're watching this, and let's get started on this to-do list. The first thing I'm doing is pulling up YouTube to find something fun to watch while I work. But the first thing from the to-do list is to tackle these socks. I'm going to get the ends woven in and the leftover yarn wound up first. I'm done weaving in the ends on the socks. If I didn't do this, plan to do it tonight, this is not an activity that I'm can't wait to weave in those ends. So it probably would have been the weekend or honestly later. So I'm really glad that that's done. I'm gonna go block these in just a second. Got all my ends here. I also have all of my stitch markers that I took out of it. So I need to get all that put away, needles, yarn cozies. I need to wind this up real quick. Did I already say this took 10 minutes? I was watching a video that was 10 minutes long. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and wind this up, put away the notions and everything in the bag, and then we'll go block them and check all of that off of our list. I'm putting the size 2 needles in my weekender project bag so that I do not forget to use size 2 needles. I've gotten a few questions about how to use bar soap for washing hand knits, and I have to admit that I was confused at first too, but it's actually super easy. Just hold the soap under running water over your container and rub the soap like you're washing your hands. Let all of the suds fall into the tub, and as you can see, the water gets super soapy. Now that one of the easier tasks is completed and done, well, I do need to go get those once they've soaked for a while and put them on blockers, but easy. I think let's do one of the more difficult tasks, which is figuring out these stripes. So I'm gonna rip this out. I'm gonna weigh the ball of yarn, see how much I have, and then I'm actually going to do a wrapping technique. I'm gonna use my iPad because I feel like I don't have cardboard cut up and I think I have any cardboard, so this will be good. I will wrap it around here, see what the striping sequence is, and then figure out how I can split it and make matching socks. So that'll really serve me because I need socks for on-the-go knitting. So I think that's what we're gonna do here next and get that done.
Why don't you get it by now? Tell me what you learned in grade school. Give it to me like you want it. Did you forget that golden rule? Why is our love at one-sided? It should really be give and take. Fill you up and leave me empty. Baby, was that my mistake? Covering these feelings, going through changes. I'm just so mad right now, I can't even think straight. So I'ma just tweet it and delete it.
I I first tried wrapping around the iPad the short way, but I quickly figured out that the long way would be better.
They're just tweeted and deleted before we cross the line and we reach a point we can't rewind.
So this is what's very confusing and frustrating to me about this yarn. It kind of looks like there's two sets of even stripes and then they go skinnier. I need to actually sit here and count the strands to figure that out. But in my head, if there's different widths of stripes, they should be like big, medium, small. But maybe they're just like same, then small? I don't know. I just don't understand. I don't understand why they would be that way. So let me sit here and count them, but I think I'm gonna have to wind through like some more of this yarn to really get a sense of the striping pattern. Okay, yes, so these are really similar. It was like 13, 13, 15, 12, 13, 15, which is weird. I mean, I know I probably didn't wind this like super even. And then these are all like 6. So I think I need to go through another set to see if it does the same thing, like if it repeats this width stripe and then skinny again. I'd like to know. These next ones are only 11. What is the pattern? I am sitting here winding what feels like the entire ball onto this iPad, and the pattern has changed again. Like, this is why these socks have taken me 2 years. It's so frustrating. In other uneven striping socks, there's always been a color sequence that remains the same. So while you may not know exactly how it's going to stripe as far as thicknesses, like you might know that like red is the start and blue is the end. And I think that's what makes this yarn so confusing, is that it's the same colors that are repeating, but different size stripes. And I don't know, I'm not able to get this figured out. I know some of you guys suggested making just a tube and then adding in afterthought everything, and I think that might be the best way to go here because I legit cannot figure this out. So I think that's what I'm gonna do, is just wind this back onto the original ball, and then tomorrow I can just maybe I'll cast on with like a waist yarn. Maybe I'll grab a waist yarn real quick and cast on so that I can unpick it. And then I can just make a tube and I can cut in afterthought everything, because this is too frustrating and I love the yarn and it's super cute. And I don't want to spend, I've already spent like 30 to 45 minutes on this, which is ridiculous. We got other things to do. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do, is wind it back onto the ball and then cast on with some waist yarn, and this will be good to go. It'll keep me entertained for a long time now that it's going to be a tube.
Knowing you won't read it before we get too far away. I need to clear my mind. I'd rather just tweet it and delete it before we cross the line.
Back to the beginning. I'm gonna pack up this bag. I've already got in here my adorable stitch markers. I think these are both from Simply Serving. They're so cute. Little haunted house coffee cup and this little pink jack-o'-lantern. It even has candy in it. And I've got a few light bulb stitch markers. And so I'm just gonna throw all this in here with my 2 size 1 needles. And we are gonna call this good for the tonight. I know that I didn't get it exactly figured out, but I can start in the morning with a toe and the tube and it will be fine. It will be fine. I will figure this out. I am strong enough. So let's go cross that off the list and make ourselves feel better by doing something else. Next, I'm going to do something that I know I can be successful in. I'm going to rip back the ribbing on my Weekender Light. Now, since this pattern has short rows right before it, I'm going to do things a little bit differently. Typically, I would go in with my needle and pick up the stitches in the stockinette and then rip back from there. But again, because of the short rows, I'm not going to do it that way. Instead, I am going to frog or just rip back all of the ribbing except for the very last row. And on the last row, I'm going to go stitch by stitch and unpick the knitting as I put it onto my needles. This is the best way for me not to drop too many stitches and to get all the stitches on here the right way without losing any of the hard work that I've done with my short rows.
You know that I'ma keep it cool. With you I feel like breaking rules. On the edge, looking out with no parachute. You know I'm dreaming about us two, playing around without a clue.
Yay, this is done. It's on the correct needle now. So the rest of it, I'm just going to, I think, to make it easier on myself, I'm going to go ahead and take the needle tips off of the other side so that it's not like in the way. And so I can finish up this side again and then continue working on the other half of this. So I'm just gonna clean that up real fast and then we will check this off the list. Oh wait, I did wanna check. I'm gonna look on Knit Companion real quick to see if there's any other things that I need to add to the bag so that I have all the tools I need for going away this weekend. Okay, so I'm gonna do those two things and then I'll meet back with you. Wasn't gonna get everything done tonight, but you always hope you can get more done than you really can in reality. So let's do a quick check on the list. So I have not done anything for my slip extravaganza quite yet. I'd like to wind the yarn and knit the swatch, but winding a ball of yarn probably takes me at least 10 minutes, and 10 times 5, that's another hour. It is 10:15 past my bedtime, so probably not gonna happen tonight, but that's okay. I have it all laid out now, and so I can just easily get to that tomorrow and hopefully get a swatch started. I finished my sport weight socks. I got the Halloween socks at least like checked off my list. I have a plan for those. My boxy, again, I'm probably not gonna do any knitting tonight, but I think I will go ahead and get it into a new project bag and get the needles, the size 3s that I need, so at least that's ready to go too. I might even take that to school with me. That might be a good thing to work on tomorrow in between. I'm going to be doing some testing with kids and everything. So then I can check that off the list. Got my weekender all fixed up. And then my design I'm going to show you here as promised. I'm not going to get it started tonight because my brain can't even do the simple things right now. But I could get that yarn at least wound. Okay, so here's the yarn. So beautiful, Farm Girl fibers. Love it so much. You saw it when I had a little better light on me. But I am going to be making a cowl version of my crocheted playtime shawl. I'll link the pattern for you, but it has those really fun crisscross pattern to it, or that really fun crisscross pattern. And we are gonna do that in a cowl version. So here is my swatch. You can see those really cool crisscross stitches. It's gonna be so beautiful as a cowl. So I just have to take swatch to larger cowl and get that figured out. But I'm really, really excited. There's a little more to it that I'm gonna hold back so that there is a little bit of a surprise. But I wanna get that going so I can be working on it in the car when we are traveling. I've got so many things that I wanna work on. Not gonna happen, but still, I want to so badly. So I think I'm gonna do that, wind up one skein of yarn, and then just leave my winding station ready so that I can wind up my MCAL yarn tomorrow. And then we will end the night, I believe, by getting my boxy stuff together here and just kind of wrapping up. Yeah, I think that's a good plan. I like to wind on the floor so that I have a large, even surface for my Swift and ball winder. And I love winding yarn when I'm not rushed to do it. I'm actually recording this voiceover the day after I filmed the video, so today I'm checking off even more things from the original list. And I can't wait to wind the MCAL yarn in just a little bit.
How did we end up here in the corner, looking like enemies? We used to be the team people talk about, what a chemistry. I can see it in your eyes. You don't wanna talk anymore. I wanna get so numb while we enemies. No, you don't mind the way I stutter my words. You know exactly
I'm going to finish up by prepping project bags for the things that I didn't get to tonight. I'm getting all of my boxy yarn out of this float tote since I'll need it for the 5 skeins for my slip stravaganza. Then I'm just putting all of the boxy yarn into another project bag, as well as getting the proper needle to do my new gauge swatch. Lastly, I'm setting out my freshly caked yarn for the playtime cowl so that it's ready to grab and go this weekend. Well, that was kind of a crazy night. I feel like my hair is showing that. It's so crazy. But I feel like I got a lot of stuff, just like I got through everything on my list, at least touched on it. I may not have done everything for each project, but now I feel really, really good about the next few days and getting things kind of, wrapped up for the weekend. Ooh, I just remembered that my socks are still soaking, so I better go get those out of the tub here in just a second. Anyway, feels really good. I hope you guys enjoyed this in lieu of a podcast, seeing how I kind of get my projects organized, especially when I'm like overwhelmed and doing too many things and I just need to hone in and get stuff straight so that it's easy. I've packed in my bag for work tomorrow, a lot of projects, which is high expectations. I've put my weekender in there, which is now ready to go. I've put my socks in there, which I need to start. And I've put a 1 ball of yarn for my boxy and the size 3 needles so that I can make a swatch. That's probably what I'm gonna do because that's the simplest thing. But yeah, so that's all good to go. I've got my slip stravaganza. I gotta start practicing that. I've got it here in this bag. Actually, it only took me 5 minutes to wind 1 ball of yarn, which is good to know. So tomorrow I can get this all done in no time at all. And then I will have them all here organized in my float tote. I'll get the needles and everything tomorrow and that will be good to go. All right, I'm feeling good. I'm ready to go to bed. I don't know if you can tell, but I am so tired. It is way past my bedtime. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week with a fun new video. Bye.